Last time the Star Wars Chronicles of Prophesied King. Our heroes finally did battle with the last of the Dark Council, being Dark Flame. Dark Flame himself actually had some relation to the Circle of Life, being now he used to be a servant of Gaia, and thus was shocked to find out it was on Earth. Despite the story, those two did battle as they tried to see who got the Circle of Life at the end. Despite David having one arm, however, he managed to find a way to get past Dark Flame, thanks to the assistance of Anto, who came in the last moment. After that's been said and done, and our other heroes finally learned the last bits of Darky's past, they used Sora's light ability to get a Circle of Life for good. However, despite the victory, it was a fatal loss, as the moment they came back to the science lab, they found out and Francisco was killed off by Darky. Episode 33. So long, Earth. It was a quiet day at Phoenix as our heroes were still in disbelief in what they saw. When Francisco's dead body lay on the counter, each one was filled with shock. So much that they didn't even notice Anto sitting on the table beside them.
Damn shame.
This caused David to come back to reality angrily. What did you do?
What?
David forces his good arm upon Anto to hold him against the wall. He stares at him angrily as Anto tries to break free.
Look, as much as I want to take credit for this, it wasn't me.
Everyone goes around to see and investigate for themselves. Mikey himself took notice of the words "can't hide." He's right. It was Darky. David looks over himself as he lets go of Anto. Cody checks Francisco's pulse, see nothing, feel nothing there. Holy shit. As they investigated, they heard static noises come to the right of them. They looked over to see 10 broken yet barely functioning on the ground. David rushes over to check on them. What happened here? I know, it looks him happily. Happy to be of service. Rocket is down. After he said that, he powers down for good. This caused everyone to grieve after hearing that. That is till Anto came over after composing himself.
I know what really happened. As I came back, I saw that Darky Fane come out of this place satisfied. I tried to pretend not to know him, yet he figured it out. That's when he told me to give you this warning.
He looks at Mikey directly.
He's giving you one last chance to stand your ground. Head to Starvania now and we'll finish it there. If not...
He looks back over to the dead Francisco. Mikey himself looked over as conflicted thoughts into his mind. It was a little later. The gang began to pack up a little as they laid Francisco's body on the table. They put a blanket over him as they said their final goodbyes. In honor of our friend of ours, he was a man who pulled a lot for us when no one else could. He looks back at him with some tears. Francisco and Anaheim, they promised to finish what we started not just for your sake, but for the sake of every Starvanian out there. There is not an understanding. Let us not grieve yet for what we have lost. Though it is hard, our priority is clear. That's when they looked back to Mikey, who was sitting out the window staring at the sky. Do what you need to do to get ready. For tomorrow we head out to our final destination. After that, they all went out to do their separate things. Sora herself went over to chat with Mikey. She sits by him as thoughts race through both their minds.
Never been to space before, have you?
She looks over to Mikey to try and start something. Why him? Sora shrugged while looking at his body.
Simple case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Mikey looks back at himself. He sighs upset.
Now I know what you're thinking.
It's not like that. He sits down beside her. It sort of is. Actually, it's hard to explain. He looks at the body himself. I'm just thinking about all we've been through and how much you've really been risking. He looks at her upset. I know we've had this talk before. I'm not saying you don't have your reasons to fight. Sora holds his hand in comfort.
Then let me give you another reason.
She gets in front of him while holding his hand.
I, Sora Peters, would like to be the Queen of Starvania.
I look so confused while blushing. Don't you think we're a little too young for that? She shakes her head while smiling.
Francisco did what he had to do because he was a real scientist for the place, correct? If I was the queen, then I have my own reasons to fight for that kingdom as well.
She gets up while helping him up.
We will share that reason together, similar to how he did. So it's not just that we'll be fighting for each other, but for our future as well. What do you say?
Mikey thinks over while giving a little smile. He then gets a laugh. Trying a little too hard to make it easier for me, are you? She gives her own laugh to lighten the mood. That's when he kisses her cheek. That's what I like about you. Fine. In the future, when we're ready, I'll ask you that same question. Obviously now is not the best time, but I will in the future, that's a promise. She kisses him on the lips for a bit. She lets go with a smile.
You better keep it then.
They smile while staring out to the sky. Meanwhile, Dragono and Terry are resting while packing their things. So, how powerful is Darky, really? Terry looks back and conflicted. I figured since you knew him the longest, you might have some idea. He giggles while packing his bag. The fight I had with him earlier didn't tell me much of anything, to be honest. Terry shook his head as he finished packing as well. I wish I knew, bud. Never saw him at his fullest. They then began to head downstairs. You know, I actually been there. Starvania? Terry shook his head. No, Romania's castle, the place from Darky's past. They headed down slowly. It was vacation, only one my father allowed. I heard about what Darky did there, but I never got the full details. He looks at a mirror in his pocket. I always knew there was something up with him. Even as a friend, he always had something he never told me. That's rough. Kinda like my father in a way. He rubs his head while they make it to the bottom floor. In fact, you can say that about a lot of people. It makes you think if people are really as sincere as they appear on the surface. Terry then goes over to put his bag by the front door. I suppose it does. Yet that's why you must want to trust. Terry turns back to him sternly. Do you trust me? Of course I do. You're the first person I give my emotions to. Terry then grabbed his hand. I do too. As does everyone else. He looks up at the sky. The chance you guys gave me despite fearing I's actions is what caused me to be fully sincere. Dragono nodded in understanding. Right. Hey, if I'm going to be completely sincere, there's something I want you to know. Terry turns back to confused. I'll be telling everyone this, since I'm not sure if we'll make it all out of this fight. Thank you for being my friend. Even when I can be rude and too emotional at points, you stuck by me to the end. There's not much I can say for how grateful I am. So once again, thank you. Terry gave him a smile. Same to you. Terry then gives him a playful look. Anyway, I heard from someone he found a soulmate. Dragono blushed for a bit. Oh come on, focus on the priority at hand. The last that Dragono does as well. Finally, we're left with David, Sierra, and Cody look at the rocket in question. It wasn't too big, yet it clearly had enough room for all of them.
Are we sure this works?
Even in death, Francisco knows what he's doing. I'm sure he tested nicely. David had a weird mechanical device on his arm that was broken to help him move it. I trust him. He didn't die to make a rickety rocket. They heard Morzos come nearby. That's when they turn around to see the biker gang come towards them with Lewis in the back. Cap, we heard what happened. They all look back at the rocket and all. My god, that's what those things look like. David stares back at them annoyed. I thought I ordered you to keep an eye on the place while I'm gone. Remember, I come to you, not the other way around. Unless you dimwits let someone take over. Francisco goes over to Tim in concern.
What happened to your arm?
David rubs his my arm's condition is the least of our concerns right now. He gives him an all-angered look. Besides, you still haven't answered my question. Lewis took the charge again. You see, Cap, he looks back at the others. We were thinking you would take us with you. David raised his eyebrow at hearing that. We know that you don't want us to come until you win the fight, but we'd be more of a help than you might realize. Both Cody and Sierra raised their eyebrows. We're not the best fighters against the wizard dudes, but David stares back judgmentally. His thoughts were clear to the others. Francine took the charge instead.
You see, we don't want you to die. We understand that this dark character is your toughest fight yet, and after hearing what happened to Science Guy...
He sighs in annoyance. You guys, what am I gonna do with you? He gives them a comforting look. We had our backs against the wall before, didn't we? Of course we'd have. Just like that Pearson guy. Right. What did you guys do?
Stay back and protect everyone else.
Exactly. That's how you can help. Protect every Starvania the best you can as we take back what's ours. That's all I want from you. But you... David snaps back. How many times do I have to tell you? I'll be fine. I'm fighting with some of the strongest people I know. There's no need to worry about me. You hear that? They did not understanding. Good. Now get to your stations, and remember, no one messes with the Trailblazers. David hits his chest confidently. You're goddamn right. They run off proudly except for Francine. David knows it as well. That includes you, doll.
I know, there's just one more thing I wanted to say.
David looks back at the rockets and investigate further. Spit it out. Francine remains hesitant with her thoughts.
Be careful, please.
David nods understanding. No need to worry. I'll be fine. Now head off. She nods hesitantly as she runs off. Lewis catches her on the way out. You know, that was the last chance to tell him. She blushes as she runs off. Lewis then looks back at David, smiling confidently. He gives a short laugh while running back. Tell me, Cap, how long did you know? David then looks over to see Cody and Sierra patiently waiting. I hope that was the boost you needed. No, don't start with me. It's not that you. It's you that needs to find a boost. Francisco is my childhood hero. That's plenty of reason for me to fight. Sierra nods confidently herself.
And as the soon-to-be Royal Guard member, my first duty being to help reclaim the kingdom is more than enough for me.
David gave a laugh at her hearing that. He then takes a glance at Cody. I'm actually surprised you're holding up pretty well. Cody shrugs while giving a straight look. No use of crying for it now. I'd like to hold a proper funeral for him later. He looks over to Sierra. There's a lot of stuff I need to think over. He sighs while holding out his hand. One of those things is my long overdue apology. Sierra laughed after hearing that.
Long overdue indeed. About time you figured it out.
He sighs in annoyance. Worth a shot, right? Sierra shook her head. You ain't as desperate as I am.
There's no reason for me to be desperate.
David shakes his head in his approval. You two done having your lover's quarrel or whatever? I don't like you would know what that's like. David laughed along with them as they heard footsteps come near them. David then turns to see Mikey approach him. Oi, how's the soon-to-be king holding up? Mikey shrugs as they fist bump. Hang in there at least. He then looks at both of them. I hope you don't mind me asking for David not to be alone. Cody and Sierra began to march off.
Not at all. Do what you need to do.
Mikey nods as he confronts David. Shame you had to go out of all of us. Mikey nods in understanding. And here I thought I was going to lose two of my friends in one day. David stares back at him conflicted. My plan back there wasn't to die. I know. I'm just glad at least someone is okay. He stares at this guy concerned. You're concerned for her, aren't you? Maggie shakes his head in denial. If Darky was going to kill her, he would have done so by now. I can still feel a faint signal from our previous call. That's good at least. I think it's only a matter of time before we save her. He interpreted to Mikey happily. She's probably the strongest woman I ever heard. I know it's condescending to say, but you're very lucky to have her. Maggie nods confidently, which is why I want to go save her more than ever. Good. David nods in understanding. By the way, Mikey, I have an answer for that question you asked earlier. Mikey's face lit up after hearing that. It shouldn't matter if I look at you as Mikey or as Astargus, because all I see is you. I did a lot of thinking about it, trying to understand what you were asking me. That's when I recall a lot of things we did together. David stares at the space along with him. You are Michael Starkus to me, the king of Starvania and the friend I appreciate spending my time with. Maggie nods in understanding. We had fun, didn't we? I suppose. They nodded hearing that. I'm sorry for doubting Don't Be. You had your reasons. I would have doubted myself in that situation as well. He then smiles looking back at him. I hope that eases your conscience in this a little bit. A little bit, anyway. He smiled as the night rolled by. It was now day. Everyone got their bags ready with some having conflicted looks. David and Mikey stood in front of the crew sternly. This is it. Everything we fought for has come to this moment. Cody did a rundown of the ship. How's it looking? Seems to be in top shape to me. David nods confidently. Good. How's our morale? Fury and I are as ready as we offer be. He looks at a mirror beside him to show Fury's reflection. No more past feelings. It's our him or us. David nods happily. Sword held a bag up that had a large circular object inside.
This circle of life is ready to go as well.
All that leaves is us. Get everything inside and take all the breaths you need. If you need any more time to say goodbye to someone before we go, do it now. Now I say goodbye to my parents.
Terry and I have no one to say goodbye to.
David turns to the rocket. If that's the case, then let's not waste another moment. You know the drill. David looks over to the side of the yard to see something he didn't expect to see. Are you sure you're okay? They all look over to see what he saw. That's when they saw a large crowd of people stand there proudly. That's when Lewis came over to see them. You won't believe this, Cap. Everyone here is Starvanian. We told them what was happening and they want to see their king off. Cody looks over to Mikey, who gives him a certain look. He walked over to the crowd studiously. As he did, he lifted the star blade in the sky to the crowd to rejoice. It's him! Our king has returned! As your king, I promise to serve you the best of my abilities. The kingdom that we once called home will soon be ours again. They all cheer with excitement while chanting, "We're coming home," over and over again. Eager bunch, aren't they? I'll say. Mikey walks back proudly. I didn't take you as a hype man. Might as well get him some hope. That's what we've been fighting for from the start, right? David smiles back. Alright, let's not waste any more time. May a star shine on us for this upcoming battle. They all got on the rocket with some nerves. As the door closed behind them, they can all still hear the Starvanians cheering from the outside. Damn. You got your hands full of those guys once you take charge. Terry looks over to see Mikey and Sora holding each other nervously. They see rebuilt Tim come into the driver's seat. Don't worry, young ones. It won't be that bumpy of a ride. Cody was also holding on to him as well. Well, some of us never been on a rocket before. I like a cold-blooded bird boy over there. They see David sit there certainly. Look who's talking, bird brain. Speaking of which, please, I'm not that stupid. Shook his head. Terry took notice of Seer and having a cool head as well as Dragonel. I'm more surprised that you two are taking this calmly as well. Dragonel confidently smirked after he said that. I'm trying faster than this. Being electric-based has its perks.
And the turbulence we had at the airplane was enough to get me ready.
Tim went over to make sure everything was set to go. As he was, from the outside, the crowd still cheered for their success. Within the crowd, however, was a mysterious individual, for it was Anto seeing the rocket off. He was making his way into the front.
I don't know why I'm even bothering with this. They mean nothing to me.
He didn't feel someone behind him, for it was a rebuilt Anti-10.
It's because you have a guilty conscience, sir. Yeah, but why should I feel guilty? They wronged me.
Anti-10 gave him a cookie and comfort.
It's because deep down you know they truly want to make amends for what they did. And because of that, you want to rekindle what you had to them. After all, you both wronged each other in many ways.
Anto shook his head in denial.
I don't know, man. Is it really worth all that trouble to do that?
Anti-10 was handing out some of his cookies to the crowd.
Is it worth baking all these cookies?
Anto stares at him conflicted.
I may be a robot, but I'm not a moron, sir.
Anto also thinks it over as he stares at the rocket. Back in it, Tim finalizes all the equipment. Takeoff will begin shortly. Is there anything else we need before we go? They all thought it over, except for David. Maybe some comfort blankets. The three youngest looked at him and amused as he laughed. Very well. I'm going to begin the ignition. He pushed a button that causes the engine to run. Everyone from the crowd backed away from the place as it was happening. Maybe we shouldn't be doing this at a local place. Terry spawned a portal under the rocket to take it to the desert beside them. Blast off will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, engage. They felt a blast beneath them as the power took them to the sky. From the town, everyone cheers the rocket launch from the sky. Tennant pressed an arrow button that causes everything to glow yellow. Time shift phase 1 has engaged, preparing for phase 2. It took a bit as everyone embraced the force pushing them back. It eventually stopped, however, with 10 signifying this. Things should be a lot smoother during phase 2. Feel free to look out the window. They all take a deep breath as they feel low gravity take place.
Is the floaty field natural?
Oh, that's right. I forgot to press the pressure button. They heard the air coming through the vent as each person went to the floor with these. That's a lot more like it. Everyone except David looked out the window and all as what they saw. Nothing but stars and asteroids coming close to them. In the distance, they see blue glow of Earth slowly getting away. Beautiful, ain't it? I'll say. Never thought I'd be out here at my age.
Neither can I.
David shook his head playfully. By the way you're acting, it's almost like you're familiar with this. David shrugged after hearing that. I was transported away from Starvania, so yeah, I might be a little familiar. Sierra took notice of a few spaceships flying away.
Are those what I think they are?
David goes over to see. Don't worry about them. Just travelers going through the galaxy.
Do you know who they are?
David gave another shrug. Could be anyone. This universe is so full of life that's impossible to tell who it is. Could it be Dark Warriors? They all gave cautious looks. Maybe. But like I said, we don't need to worry about it. Now then, how about a little game of poker to keep us busy? Everyone except Mikey got out of the window, adding their own comment to it. Mikey just kept staring at the spaceship conflicted. He puts his head on the window, trying to take his worries away. Almost there. Just keep going. Don't forget who you are. He stopped himself after hearing before he finished. Part of it is because of a mental flash of his mother. He shed a few tears as he looked back out. Mikey, you're playing? He looks back after quickly wiping his tears away. Yeah, deal me in. We are taken back to the cell Morgan, who seemed to be all wiped out. Darky stood in front of her sternly. What do you see? She just lays there exhausted. Morgan. She remains unresponsive. Darky hands her some bread to eat. Here, get some of your energy back. She eats it slowly. Now, tell me what you see. Morgan looks out to him sickly.
He's on his way. Him and his friend.
Darky takes that in to think. Anything else? Morgan shakes her head. He nods in understanding. If I were to predict, his first task would be to save you. Am I wrong in that assumption? Morgan didn't even look at him.
I don't know what he plans to do.
Darky sat his staff on the ground. Might as well prepare. The scene cuts to him going back up the stairs. As he did, he saw a mysterious man stand there. It was Philip, who looked at him with a devilish grin. My, if it is my favorite general! Darky scoffed as he walked past him. I would prefer Poisonovich right now. He stops when Philip appears in front of him. Come on, I'm your favorite, aren't I? I don't play favorites. I play preferences. Philip laughed at hearing that. Those are the same things, though. Now that's a whole can of worms for later. Aren't you gonna ask why I'm here? Darky didn't seem to care as he opened the door to their hallway. I would if I was curious. Philip quickly follows. No, I have more important things to worry about right now than play guessing games. Especially with the creepiest of the two leaders. Creepiest? I don't poison people like the other guy. Yeah, he doesn't have that vacant stare like you. Can't argue with that. Alright, I'm here because I caught wind that Starvania is coming back for his kingdom. Am I wrong? Darky stares back at him sternly. You can thank that pathetic band you call the Dark Council for making it easier on them. Philip appeared behind him. It was my decision to send him, just so you know. I was complicit in just letting you do you. It was all Norris's planning. His impatient ass couldn't wait a few more days for you finally to kibosh on him. Darky rolled his eyes to hear that. And he thought those guys could do it. Only one of them was competent enough to try and take them. And even then, it has been proven that one can't take all of them down alone. Trust me, I tried my own contender. And I believe you. So what's the plan now? Darky looks out to the broken down buildings along with soldiers patrolling every part of it. I'm letting him come here. He can bring that fight to me. It gives me more than enough time to prepare. You and those measly shift stones, I'm already prepared for his arrival. And I assume that you were not your killing blow. Am I right? Giving Starvania back to its rightful owner. The people rather than a blasphemous king. Oh, I just love the sound of it already. I'm practically trembling with excitement. Darky shook his head in his approval. It would even tickle the other guy than you at this current moment. Philip seemed disappointed at hearing that. There's no pleasing you, is there? Darky just looked at him unamused. As him Philip decided to leave. Whatever, I'm sure you have it all secure. Make sure you'll kill him this time. You did before. I bet you can do it again. Don't disappoint. He flashed away after waving. Darky just stared at him where he stood sternly. Now we go back to the shuttle with our heroes. They were playing card games, seemingly having a good time. Unfair! There's no way you had that kind of poker face! He points at Sierra angrily. She just gives him a playful look.
Not my fault you can't read the novel.
Everyone's hand seems to be lesser than hers.
Looks like the Queen of Poker has added another win to the total.
As the Mikey laid down his hand. Sorry, Sierra, but it was never your hand to win. She looks over to see him get a royal flush.
Oh my god!
She looks over to Terry, who was dealing.
Are you sure you dealt with them right?
He looks at the deck again. Maybe you shouldn't have thought twice for making me the dealer. Fury showed in the reflection of the table. Besides, it's not like that never happened before. Remember when David got 4 aces? She looks over to David's input. Hey, you chose him as dealer. Don't rope me into this. They all laugh after hearing this.
Who would have thought a simple card game would put you off that much?
Seer gave her an amused look along with Dragonelle. Well, when money's in the line... Wait, we are betting money on this? Like actual Benjamins? They all laughed at hearing that, even Dragonelle and Sierra. I guess you're right. No need to crowd for a few chips.
Anyone can be that lucky, I suppose. It's not like it's unheard of.
They all hand their cards back to Terry.
Here, sorry for the accusation.
Terry just let it off. It's cool. Just a game after all. They then leaned back to relax. As he did, he saw something straight out the window. Hold on. He gets up to see it. As he does, his face remains still. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Starvania. They all get up to look out the window. As they did, they saw a dark blue plant along with black aurora. Mikey himself couldn't believe his eyes. There she is. Home. The parents went back for a pep talk. I hope you guys are ready for the fight of your lives. There's no telling what Darky has planned for us. He could even call off the troops and just face us himself. However, I wouldn't count on that. The fellow Rocket gets shaky. Apologies. I should have told you that the re-entry. My mistake. They all get to the seat where they hold on for dear life. As they did, it stopped with a huge thud. Despite feeling shaky, they managed to get off their chairs in one piece. Like I said, we don't know what to expect once we're here. I hope you guys are ready. He takes a look over to Mikey. After Mikey composes himself, he opens the door to see what was going on. As he did, he notices that he was in a black alleyway with trash rubble everywhere. Jesus, what happened to this place? David takes a look for himself. Those are the Dark Warriors, a dead number on this place. He looks back down to Mikey. Ready to go, bud? Mikey takes his sword out with a confident look. He then looks above the roof to see the top of the castle. Do you feel me, Mom? I made it. This time, finish what we started. He puts his sword back in the scabbard. I'm not feeling conflicted about the moment. It's time to take action. He looks back at everyone else who got their powers and weapons ready to go. He nods confidently. Either way, bro. David and Mikey gather should do just that. Remain low and stay quiet. The less we fight we have to do, the better. Beyond understanding, as they get out of the alleyway, they see the broken town around them. Mikey once again looks up the castle. It was the biggest thing on the Dark Planet. It was also the most kept thing on the planet itself. On one of the balconies was Darky, who stared down into the town. It was nothing but night at this place as Darky held the railing tightly. So, the time has come at last. Make your way to the castle, Michael. I expect nothing less from you. He walks back with a serious look.